Hey, crypto family. So it looks like the rally is continuing, which is great to see. We see Bitcoin here is up 2.5% to $7,191. We have Ethereum up 5%. Bitcoin Cash has actually been a strong performer lately. It's up over 14.8% at $621. But the big player that a lot of people are confused about is Dogecoin. It's actually up over 60%. And I'm going to go over why in a couple minutes. But first, let's go ahead and look over Bitcoin for the TA. So we can see here that I mentioned that it did need to hold this 50-day moving average support. This is on the daily chart. Now we can see it went just below it and then it bounced back above it. And it held that support, and now our next resistance line is around that $7,300 to $7,400 level, which is the 128-day moving average. So we're going to have to watch for this, and if this maintains resistance or if we can bust through that, take closer to that 200-day moving average of about $7,900. So again, always remember to take profits. That's the biggest thing lately with these rallies is people don't take profits and then they just end up not making any money at all. So always make sure to move up your stops, take profits accordingly, maybe take half. Of course, not financial advice, just my opinion. But again, always try to lock in profits during these rallies. So, and I mentioned in my last video that on the TD sequential, it is, this was a 9 here, which means this could possibly be a reversal candle, the next couple of candles. So it could very well go back to the downside and go, to 6,800 or even lower. So again, lock in your profits and make sure you are, kind of building your positions on the way up. So with that, let's go ahead and go to the first article of news. So I mentioned Dogecoin was up over 60% today, and one of the main reasons is Dogecoin. So for those who don't know what Dogecoin is, basically it's a way to collaborate between Doge and the Ethereum communities. So it says here, this article by Crypto Globe, some analysts have attributed Dogecoin's rise to the launch of Dogecoin Alpha on August 18th. Dogecoin is the result of a collaboration between Doge and Ethereum communities that lasted 13 months. Its goal, according to various reports, is to find a way to connect both cryptocurrencies and allow Dogecoin to have some of Ethereum's features, including the ability to host smart contracts. Initially, Dogecoin was set to be launched as a separate cryptocurrency whose ticker would be DOGX. It would be created through a hard fork, but eventually the communities decided not to split the Dogecoin chain. And this is another reason why I think it's rising. So it says, on September 5th, which is in 4 days, a demonstration between the Ethereum and Dogecoin blockchain is scheduled. The cryptocurrency surge could be related to it, although its at press time is unclear. Ethereum hasn't, only risen 2.79%. So again, I do think that this has played some part in it because, August 18th is nearly 2 weeks in the past, so I don't think exactly it's because of that alpha launch, but I do think that coming on September 5th date, everyone knows that always coming up to certain news items that, rises tend to happen. So if you're holding some Dogecoin, I strongly recommend looking to take some profits on this recent rise. Something tells me, when September 5th comes, we'll see a dump or we'll see a lot of people taking profits, buy the rumors, sell the news. So always keep that in mind. But it's good to see, the meme coin never fails to rise just out of nowhere. So usually when Dogecoin rises and like Verge, that's also risen a lot. That's usually the precursor to a lot of other altcoins rising. So some people say it's the start of alt season, but again, always take profits accordingly. So because these markets could turn any moment. Now, last bit of news here is saying Nasdaq could list cryptocurrencies in 2019 as early as Q2. Now, this is huge because Nasdaq is the second largest stock exchange behind the New York Stock Exchange, which, there's billions and trillions of dollars moving through all of those together. So it's definitely something to be excited about. So this article here was by usethebitcoin.com. And it says, this week brought big news as sources say Nasdaq could be listing cryptocurrencies on its platform in 2019. This shows more interest from traditional financial institutions in entering the crypto world. Now, where they linked is an article from actually the ICO journal. So just so you'll know where I'm actually citing the source. And one of the quotes from the ICO journal says, our first Gemini source, referring to the Gemini Exchange, which is owned by Tyler Winklevoss, so the Winklevoss twins. So they're really popular. They have their own crypto exchange, and they've been known to have a lot of connections throughout the crypto community and through networking in like Wall Street and different financial networks. So it says, our first Gemini source says the following: Tyler and Cameron have moved the ball down the field in a meaningful way. Nasdaq and its leadership already are predisposed to finding an architecture solution and being the first to list actual tokens, not just ETFs or futures or some derivative of the crypto apparatus, but rather list actual coins. They are getting very comfortable with the structures they've seen from Gemini and other research they've done with exchanges of notes. There is a timeline forming for this decision, and it could be earlier than some might think. And it says a second Gemini source was a little more specific with the timing of Nasdaq move into crypto trading. Quote, Nasdaq and Gemini have gotten very, very comfortable with each other. And did you guys catch a little note in one of the latest articles where it said that Gemini was essentially doubling their staff by the end of this year? There's a reason for that, and it is their work with Nasdaq. So pretty much they talk about, being available to publicly trade on Nasdaq by Q2 of 2019. And again, this is some great news. Again, these are all sources. It's not from Nasdaq itself, but a lot of sources that work closely with Nasdaq, saying possibly they could list crypto as soon as Q2 2019. So that would cause a huge surge in the volume of the cryptocurrencies, and it could double, triple the market cap easily. So I definitely think that it's something to keep in mind when trading these cryptocurrencies. And again, if you're holding for the long term, I definitely see that a lot of these cryptos are going to continue to rise, as we get closer towards the end of the year and then the beginning of 2019, because there is a lot of adoption coming on board, and I believe we'll just see that adoption continue. So hopefully you found those news articles useful, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, comment if you have any questions, and subscribe if you haven't. Until next time, thanks for watching.